then I have a right to despise you, and I do. So if you're Nikki Haley, who's running for president, or Ben Shapiro, or half the people I see on television casually mentioning the possibility of nuclear war or sending Americans to fight in the Middle East.
We have a huge beef going down between Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson, and a lot of other people over at the Daily Wire are getting involved, and other places as well, not just the Daily Wire. There's a ton of people getting involved in this. Let's first check out this clip, and then we have a nuclear comeback, a nuclear clapback from Tucker Carlson himself. Ben Shapiro then also responded to that one. They're going back and forth like crazy. Let's check out this clip first, and then we'll get into Tucker's response, and then Ben's response, and you get the picture.
I want to ask you one other thing related to this, since I brought up Tucker a couple of times. He's been somewhat critical of you. I actually think kind of unfairly, and I defended you on my show a couple of weeks ago, basically saying that you were too overly emotive about Israel and what was going on there. And I think there's some subtle overtones that come with that. What do you make of his criticism of you related to this? Also, and I know it's not the most fun thing to talk about because we all live in the same world in a sense. Also, the fact that,
what overtones is he talking about? Is he saying that Tucker doesn't like Jays? It's a pretty crazy accusation there.
He's trying to build a network. You have a network. He might view you as competition now. There could be some other motives going on here.
I mean, listen, best to Tucker in all of his endeavors with regard to...
That's Ben Shapiro's mic, by the way. That's not me.
His network. I think that he put out a little documentary on the border recently that I thought was quite good. Again, I like many things that Tucker says. What Tucker said about me is that I don't love the country, which I found absolutely peculiar. It's something that I would never say about him. He and I disagree about a wide variety of issues, ranging from economics to foreign policy. That's a bizarre notion. And again, I've actually invited Tucker to come on my show. Like, we've been texting. I think it's good for the right to have these discussions. I'd be perfectly willing to discuss with him. Hopefully we can work out a time to make that happen. Because, yeah, I mean, I too would be interested in some clarification of whether, in fact, he does think that I don't love the country in the way that he suggested. Because, again, I think that I doubt he feels that way. I really doubt he feels that way. Perhaps it was poorly articulated. But I'd like to certainly ask him the question.
All right, so Tucker has said it a couple times. Tucker, I'm happy to talk to you anytime. I'm happy to facilitate a conversation. You guys are obviously texting already. But the point of all of this is as these people wake up, let's give them a home that they can walk into.
All right, so that was one clip that set off an entire fire. I mean, obviously it's been happening before that. That's what set off this most recent spout between Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson. So that was Ben Shapiro saying basically Tucker Carlson has been lying on him. This tweet is from Han Shawnity. It says, "I have such incredible respect for Ben Shapiro. Tucker Carlson has been going on a crusade for weeks, falsely smearing Ben Shapiro. Listen to how Ben responds. Ben is a true gentleman and a good person." Let me know in the comments if you agree with that. If you know me, you know I don't agree. I don't absolutely hate Ben Shapiro. I just think some of his takes are just wild. But anyway, I'm a big Tucker fan, so I'm not going to be super biased in this video. But this video is where Tucker kind of claps back at Ben Shapiro. It says, Tucker Carlson says he despises Ben Shapiro and Nikki Haley for wanting to send his kids overseas to fight their wars. Do you agree with him? Let's check out this clip here from Tucker Carlson in response to Ben Shapiro.
I've got 4 draft-age children. So if you're playing recklessly, fast and loose with their lives, then I have a right to despise you, and I do. So if you're Nikki Haley, who's running for president, or Ben Shapiro, or half the people I see on television casually mentioning the possibility of nuclear war or sending Americans to fight in the Middle East, or in any way involving us in a war that has nothing to do with prosperity and peace at home, nothing, in other words, to do with us, Americans, then I have a right to call you out and be really offended because it's my family. They live here. It's not a joke to me. There's nothing abstract about it.
You see, the reason why I agree with Tucker here, and let me know in the comments what you think. I'm very open to having the discussion. I'm very open to being proven wrong, is I think this is a true America First take. This is a true America First stance, and obviously I am America First. That's just, it seems like the most obvious thing to be. People like Ben Shapiro will claim that they are America First, but then say that we should send people over to Israel to fight in that war, and defend people like DeSantis and the others. And obviously I can't go too deep on that issue on this platform, but they'll defend people who are saying that we need to defend Israel and we need to prioritize Israel, and who don't just say it, but do it behind closed doors without telling anyone Like, Ron DeSantis going over there to sign a speech bill in Florida. The hell, like, why? And of course, Ben Shapiro absolutely loves DeSantis after that. And so do all the other people that Tucker Carlson is talking about. But I just don't think their stance is America First stance. And I think this Tucker Carlson stance saying, at the end of the day, that war does not have anything to do with us. It does not have anything to do with prosperity in the United States of America. And to try to send troops over there, or to try to incite that to happen, is an anti-America First stance. It's an anti-America First way of viewing things. And Tucker Carlson is basically just saying, I despise Ben Shapiro and Nikki Haley for wanting to be not America First and being actively anti-America First. We also have Ben Shapiro, once again, responding to this Tucker Carlson statement, saying that Tucker Carlson despises Ben Shapiro. Here's what Ben Shapiro had to say in response. Tucker is simply lying about my positions. I have been calling for a negotiated end to the Ukraine war, freezing the lines of conflict since early on in the war. I have never called for American boots on the ground in Ukraine, ever. I have never called for American boots to defend Israel, ever. Yeah, you don't explicitly say that, but the words that you're saying, obviously, like if you take them to their logical conclusion, that's where that thing ends. What Ben Shapiro wants to happen. I've invited Tucker to sit down multiple times over the past few weeks to clear the air and discuss our differences. He said he's willing, but his team has told us he's busy for months because of all his foreign travel. That offer remains open. I would definitely love to see it because I think Tucker, I don't know if he's quite based enough to actually ask the true questions that we all want asked, because I don't think Ben Shapiro would be open to have anyone on his show who really would ask the real questions that we want people to be asking. He would definitely be a lot more willing to ask the right questions to Ben Shapiro than anyone else he's ever had on his show in the past. You also have this guy, Peter Hinline. I'm sorry, I don't know who this is, but he says Tucker Carlson has repeatedly bashed Ben Shapiro, the co-founder of the Daily Wire. Daily Wire's response: please do an interview with us, Tucker. It's all a misunderstanding. Tucker Carlson has actually become a complete joke, but Daily Wire made a clear business decision to become a MAGA media company, so they can't point it out. Instead, they basically have to act like pathetic gimps when they're insulted by those above them in the MAGA hierarchy. And here's what Jeremy Boring, who is, I believe, the CEO of the Daily Wire, had to say about this whole Tucker Carlson versus Ben Shapiro drama. Jeremy Boring says, Tucker's team says this conversation with Russell was recorded last year, long before Ben invited Tucker to discuss their differences in person on January 2nd. I'll take them at their word, but that's just all the more reason Tucker needs to sit down with Ben ASAP instead of shadowboxing a caricature of Ben Shapiro he made up in his own head. Let me know in the comments what you thought of that response. And here, Dave Rubin, which is who Ben Shapiro did that original interview clip that I was showing you earlier, talking about Tucker Carlson. Here's what Dave Rubin said. He said, interesting community note regarding Tucker's adventures in Russia. So this tweet is from Ketchup. It says, Tucker Carlson goes shopping at a Russian grocery store. And the community note, let me move it up a little so you can see. Over 60% of Russians spend half of their salary on food, according to Russia's state-owned news. It also says the groceries in this video cost 9,841 RUB. The average wage in Russia is only 73,000 RUB per month, which is $791 with today's exchange rate. And Ian Miles Chong over here says, this community note is nonsense, and Dave Rubin says, how so? And let me see if Ian Miles Chong actually responded. He doesn't. He doesn't actually respond to that, so I'm not sure why he said that it was nonsense. Let me know in the comments what you think. I think that, Dave Rubin and Ben Shapiro, for obvious reasons, can't really say why, but I'm sure you know why, are, kind of ganging up on Tucker Carlson a bit. But I am pretty biased, so let me know in the comments how you feel about this Tucker Carlson versus Ben Shapiro debate that's happening. Who do you think is winning? Who do you think is right? Who do you think is wrong? Let me know in the comments what you think about this whole situation. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will hope to see you on the next one.